Alright, we all centered out and everything. Welcome to Eazystar's Variety Society, and this is part 2 of the Michael Vick celebration. We began last episode just by, going back to when Mike Vick got drafted, coming out of college. Top draft, the highest picked African-American as a quarterback, coming out, and I forgot what year that was, but his rookie year. Went through his career, went through some of the ups and downs, how the NFL and the media portrayed him, looked at him, compared him to other quarterbacks. And we made it up to the part where, the dog fighting or whatever. So, and again, if you dog fight, that's trouble. So, you know what I'm saying? He earned that punishment pretty much. I will, however, add an addendum stating that I definitely wondered if the two events were a tandem, meaning the NFL gave him their highest paid contract ever. One of the highest paid athletes ever, that contract was. And then immediately came the charges for dogfighting, and they were compounded until, he was demonized, instead of maybe villainized or criminalized, he was actually demonized. So all that, I think, had the same kind of energy on it, you know what I mean? I will add to that, listening to Mike Vick during some interviews once he got the prison, wherever he went to prison at, they took all of the exercise equipment out of that facility. They don't normally, or, I'm listening to the I'm no prison expert, but from his understanding, that wasn't a normal practice. It just happened when he got there. So, I mean, same energy, you know what I mean? I think that happened in tandem. I think it actually be proved if enough truth was out there being told. But I mean, you could look at a duck and be like, man, that looked like a lot like a duck. So anyways, Mike Vick is in prison. Then they had the Peyton Manning golden years. I mean, they didn't even, the Peyton Manning golden years was kind of jacked up because really Tom Brady, even though he started getting his props after he just kept winning the Super Bowls and they had to give it to him or look stupid. But it was the Peyton Manning golden years, and to a certain effect, it's that way today. The Peyton Manning golden years of the intelligent, sharp quarterback, blah, blah, and Peyton Manning is good. But that's what happened when Mike Vick left. It went from being Mike Vick, the highest paid athlete, to Peyton Manning, Archie Manning genes, and Eli Manning genes, and the genetics of the great pocket passer. Anyways, that has traditionally been a Caucasian passer. When Mike Vick was in jail, I wonder what he was thinking when he was in prison, man. I mean, did he actually, how far did he actually slow his life down, slow some moments down, and, I wonder if he actually got to see what they did to the NFL after he was gone, and actually feel connected to that in any way. That's something. Mike Vick, on the eve of Mike Vick about to be out of prison, right? So Mike Vick is about to be out of prison, and you got all the announcers, the same dang on announcers that would question his intellect, his ability or stability in the pocket, and all the other things they act, they always criticize black quarterbacks about. Those same quarterbacks that were analysts at the time, and a lot of them were not quarterbacks, but the same people of that idea, of that full mental idea. Oh man, Mike Vick is going to come out. He won't get his own team, but he'll be an excellent wide receiver or slash receiver quarterback. Basically, he wasn't. This is what I see. People was wishing. You know what I'm saying? People was wishing. They was trying to put it out there like it was factual. Like they knew what they was talking about, but really, people was wishing Mike Vick would not start at quarterback, because I mean, a lot of people felt good and comfortable about the golden Peyton Manning years and what it meant to solidify the pocket passer's position and tradition and of football. A lot of people didn't want that to change. You know what I'm saying? We'll put it that way. I'm sitting here like, are these folks crazy? I got people watching, I'm watching the TV and people around me like, yeah, he was. And I'm looking at them like, are you guys stupid? This dude was the best player in the league. He had the highest contract in the league. That means he was getting paid more than Peyton Manning. You know what I'm saying? He was getting paid more than Tom Brady. He was getting paid more than anybody. So you're going to tell me he played quarterback. So you're going to tell me he can't even be the worst starting quarterback in the league. He's going to be a half a quarterback, a faux quarterback. After that argument, then he starts to come in. You know what I mean? And then you have, what is the dude's name? What is this dude's name? Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy. When I think Tony Dungy, I think he's the good black boy. I'm sorry. That's what when I immediately, you put up that ink block for me and you show me a picture of Tony Dungy, I'd be like, he's the NFL's good boy. And they put him to like lead all the other black or Negro ideas in that direction. Don't be a good man, be a good boy. That's what I think of when I see Tony Dungy. Now I don't know the man, and I know I know he has qualities of a good man, in fact. But as far as the character and the roles played, that's the role he played, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that feel that way. So, you know what I'm saying? In fact, man, speaking of it, Peyton Manning, he's Peyton Manning's coach. But the way you hear the announcers in the media portray it, like Peyton Manning ran the practices. Like Tony Dungy was a coach just because the team always needed a coach. And I'm sure it didn't go down that way again. I'm just talking about the media portrayal. You know what I mean? So I looked at that, I'm like, all right, so they got to make it look good. The NFL got to make it look good to the public. Like, you know what I'm saying? We easing them in with the nice guy, Tony Dungy. But the one thing I can say, I still don't know what goes on behind the scene. But Donovan McNabb, for him to step up, regardless if he was instructed to do so by the NFL, by the Eagles, that was also a risk on himself. And you got to give a man props for that. You got to give a man props for that because he knew people was hating Mike. People still hating on Mike Vick. You know what I'm saying? So for him to put himself out there like that, that's a good dude. You know what I'm saying? I like that dude. And Andy Reid as well. Andy Reid, who did make Donovan McNabb one of the premier starting quarterbacks in the league as a black quarterback. You know, a lot of people always question Andy Reid's judgment. But now he not only got Donovan McNabb in the fold, now he got Mike Vick in the fold. Andy Reid, you got to give him some props for taking, be willing to take the risk and the management at the Eagles. So finally, you know what I'm saying, Vick comes in at that first year. I don't even want to talk about it because he was Donovan McNabb's backup, and he was that slash player that, he was projected to be, and it kind of sucked. I didn't like it. He wasn't even in the best shape because, again, they took all of his equipment out of the prison. So, top condition at that point. So I'm going to skip over that first year. And then we're going to go to his second year. Now, in the second year, this is the story we got, was that Kevin Kolb was being portrayed as the Eagles' new starter because Donovan McNabb had got traded to the Redskins. Now I'm sitting here like, somebody crazy. Kevin Kolb is going to start over Michael Vick. Kevin Kolb is less than average. Every time I've seen him, he's less than average. Even at that point, he was less than average. And it was like, really, Eagles, you got Mike Vick, and you're going to back him up to this Kevin Kolb cat? You can't stop the bum rush. You can't stop the bum rush. You can't stop the shine. You can't stop the golden glow. When it's time for the glow to glow, it's going to glow. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm thinking, knowing that, all right, I'm not never one to wish injury on anybody because that's a karma thing. I don't want that energy coming back on me. But I knew it would come a time where it would become obvious that Kevin Kolb was less than an average quarterback. And I'm thinking somebody else knew this too, and it may have been a setup so that the Eagles, again, softened the blow to the public, letting Mike Vick back in the league So, you know, he was demonized. So you don't want the public in a rage. You know what I'm saying? So you soften the blow. Oh, yeah, we're going to have Kevin Cobb start. Sooner or later, Mike Vick was going to get a chance to prove he was at least better than Kevin Cobb. Jesus Christ, come on, please. You got to stop it. First game, Kevin Cobb did get injured. You know what I mean? They were down, I think, 17-0, and they lost the game 17-14. Mike Vick pretty much played the second half. So he brought them back. They were down 17-0. He brought them back. They almost won. Then he went, I think the next game was against Detroit or Jacksonville. Well, those were the two next games regardless. And he was doing work. Mike Vick doing work, right? I'm going to go to where Mike Vick is just like yitting on everybody, right? And nobody could figure him out again because he was the best player in the league. And they, it ain't nothing changing in shape this year. You know what I'm saying? And he done worked on his footwork, his pocket game. So he's a better pocket passer than when he was the highest paid player in the league. He's a better pocket passer now. So all this culminated to his first national Monday Night Football presentation. I forgot the date, but some week during the season, like towards the middle of the season. They had already played the Washington Redskins once and lost. He was injured, in fact, in that game, missed 3 games. So, and then they had a bye week, and, he 4 weeks off, and he's back in. And I think it was this game, actually, that he came back. And, Lord, let me give you the stats for this game. His quarterback rating for that game was 150.7. I mean, I think that's got to be closest to like the highest. Like that quarterback rating has a limit to a ceiling to where it can go up to. He had to be pushing that ceiling at 150.7. All right, his completion percentage was 71.4%, 11.9 yards per catch in it. So it was over a first down every time it was caught. You know what I mean? 333 yards passing, right? You've seen that done before. 4 passing TDs. Wow, you've seen that before. Okay, all right. 80 yards rushing. Now you get into the realm of you ain't never seen stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? And he had 2 rushing TDs. That's 6 touchdowns in the whole game. You know what I'm saying? And another footnote was my man John Gruden, after seeing that performance, labeled him Rocket Ship 7, and that's my new stuff too, Rocket Ship 7. You know what I'm saying? From the motherland. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? You got, that was, I think, the highlight game of the season for him, and it was kind of like the thing that put him back on the map in his rightful place. Like, man, I'm not a slot quarterback, a wide receiver. I'm not a backup to no Kevin Cobb. Is you crazy? I am not just a regular starting quarterback. I'm an elite quarterback. Mike Vick, you better get to recognizing this. 6 TDs, over 300 yards passing, 80 yards rushing, 70. I just said, I'm really listening to stats. You see what I'm saying?
Do you still love me?
Sure I do, honey.
When will you take me away?
Just as soon as we finish listening to the playback.